Hey everyone! Welcome back to our channel. I hope you're all doing absolutely amazing today, because in this episode, we're diving into something that can completely transform your social life, your relationships, and even your confidence. Today's topic is powerful, practical, and one of the biggest game changers you'll ever learn in communication. How to talk better than conversation, in any situation. If you've ever been stuck mid-conversation, your brain suddenly goes blank, your heart beats fast, and you wish you had something interesting to say, this is your episode, because by the time you reach the end, you'll have 9 unstoppable techniques to help you stay calm, confident, and smooth in any interaction. Whether it's a first meeting, a date, an interview, or a casual chat, you'll be able to handle it with presence, clarity, and natural energy. So sit back, plug in those earphones, grab a coffee, and let's make your communication unstoppable. Let's start with the truth. Most people think that good conversation is about talking a lot. They think it's about being funny, smart, quick, or having perfect grammar, but it's not. Talking better isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing genuine curiosity, calm energy, and emotional awareness. You see, great conversation isn't something you do to people. It's something you do with them. It's a dance, a rhythm, a flow between minds and hearts. So, before we even get into techniques, remember this one golden rule. Don't focus on what to say. Focus on how to make the other person feel. When people feel heard, seen, and respected, they naturally want to keep talking to you. And that's where mastery begins. Now let's get into the real stuff. Practical steps that you can use immediately. The Curious Explorer Mindset. The first secret is simple. Be curious, not careful. When you meet someone new, most people freeze because they're trying too hard to sound good. But real connection happens when you're curious. Imagine you're an explorer and every person you meet is like a new world, with its own stories, struggles, dreams, and experiences. Your job isn't to impress them, it's to discover them. So instead of asking robotic questions like, "How are you?" ask something real, something human. What's been the best part of your week so far? Or, what are you most excited about these days? When you ask questions like that, you light a spark. You move beyond small talk and open the door to real talk. Curiosity makes conversations alive. And when you stay curious, you'll never run out of things to say. The echo effect. Here's one of the simplest yet most powerful tricks in the world of communication. When someone speaks, repeat or echo part of what they said, and expand it with curiosity. Example. They say, "I just started learning guitar." You respond, "Oh, really? That's awesome. What made you want to start learning?" That's it. You just created flow, because people love when others show genuine interest in their words. You don't need to think too hard about what to say. Just listen actively and use their words as a bridge. That's what I call effortless conversation flow. Tell micro stories. Now let's add another layer. Storytelling. Every great communicator, from leaders to influencers, understands the power of stories. But don't worry, you don't need long or dramatic ones. All you need are micro stories. Short, relatable, emotional moments that reveal your human side. You see, it's short, it's someone emotional. Says, "I love traveling." Micro stories make conversations stick. They add color, I got lost in a small mountain village and met this old man who shared the best local food I've ever had. It reminded me how kind strangers can be. You see, it's short, it's emotional, it connects. Micro stories make conversations stick. They add color, energy, and personality, things people remember about you. The 70-30 rule. Here's something counterintuitive. If you want people to think you're a great talker, let them talk more. The best conversationalists speak just about 30% of the time, and listen 70%. but their 30% is powerful. It's meaningful, emotional, and creates direction. Why does this work? Because people don't want to be impressed. They want to be expressed. When you let them talk, you make them feel understood. And that's the fastest way to build connection and trust. You'll be surprised. People will walk away saying, "Wow, you're such a great conversationalist," even though they did most of the talking. That's real charisma. 5. Bridge the conversation. Ever had a moment where the talk suddenly dies? You panic, trying to come up with something to say. Well, that's where the art of bridging comes in. Let's say you're talking about movies and you want to move to travel. You can say, "That reminds me of this one film that made me want to visit Italy. Have you ever traveled somewhere because of a movie?" Smooth. You didn't force it, you connected it. Bridges make your speech flow like a river. No awkward stops, no dead air. And here's the trick. Bridges work between ideas, emotions, and topics. Learn to connect them naturally, and you'll sound confident in any situation. 6. Use emotion. Words. Words without emotion are empty. You don't just want to talk, you want to make people feel. Instead of saying, "That's good," say, "That's incredible. You must have felt amazing." Or instead of, "That's bad," say, "That must have been so frustrating." Emotion words create emotional bridges. They bring warmth, energy, and life to your tone. People will start describing you as so easy to talk to because your voice carries feeling. 6. Use emotion. Words. Words without emotion are empty. You don't just want to talk, you want to make people feel. Instead of saying, "That's good," say, "That's incredible. You must have felt amazing." Or instead of, "That's bad," say, "That must have been so frustrating." Emotion words create emotional bridges. They bring warmth, energy, and life to your tone. People will start describing you as so easy to talk to because your voice carries feeling. Own the silence. Let's face it, silence scares people. You're in a conversation, there's a pause, and suddenly it feels awkward. So, we rush to fill it. But here's a secret. Confident people own silence. They take a breath. They smile. They make eye contact because they know silence isn't empty. It's a sign of presence. When you pause, it shows you're thoughtful. When you hold space, it shows maturity. Don't fear the pause. Master it. The calm between words often speaks louder than the words themselves. Ask expansion questions. When your conversation hits a wall, don't panic, expand it. Ask questions like, "That's interesting. What made you decide that? How did that experience change you? What did you learn from that moment?" These questions go beyond surface level. They make people reflect, and when they do, they open up emotionally. You stop being just another person talking to them. You become someone who gets them. That's how friendships, relationships, and even opportunities begin. The positive energy transfer. Here's the most powerful rule of all. People remember your energy more than your words. You might forget every sentence from this episode tomorrow, but you'll remember the energy you felt, and that's how conversation works too. If you go in nervous, people feel it. If you go in positive, warm, and grounded, people feel that instead. So before any conversation, take 10 seconds to reset your state. Smile, breathe deeply, remind yourself, "I'm not here to impress, I'm here to connect." That shift changes everything. You start radiating authenticity, and suddenly people want to be around you, because great talkers don't push their energy. They share it. The mindset shift. Now let's go deeper. Why do we often freeze, forget words, or overthink? Because we're scared. Scared of judgment, of saying something wrong, of not being interesting enough. But here's the truth. Nobody is judging you as much as you are judging yourself. The moment you stop trying to be perfect and start being present, you'll find your natural flow. People don't want perfect. They want real. They want someone who listens, laughs, feels, and reacts genuinely. So next time you talk, drop the mask, stop trying to perform. Just be human. That's what makes conversations powerful. Not the grammar, not the accent, not the vocabulary, but the vibe. What to do when you run out of things to say. Yes, even pros do, but confident people handle it differently. They laugh. They own it. They say, "Wow, my brain just completely blanked out." Does that ever happen to you? That small, honest moment brings laughter and connection, or they pivot gracefully. You know, that reminds me of something interesting I read the other day. The key is not to avoid silence, but to embrace it. Your calmness in those moments shows control, and that's real confidence. Real-life practice. All right, let's make this real. Today, your challenge is simple. Start one conversation using at least 3 of these techniques. Ask a curious, emotional question. Tell one small, personal story. Use energy and warmth in your tone. It could be with your friend, a colleague, or even a stranger at a coffee shop. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to practice being present, because great communicators are not born. They're trained day by day, word by word, moment by moment. The inner confidence layer. All of these tools are powerful, but they mean nothing without self-belief. You must first believe that your voice matters, that your ideas have value, that you deserve to be heard. Once you internalize that belief, everything changes. You no longer seek validation. You create connection. People start noticing your energy, your calmness, your authenticity, and suddenly, conversations become effortless.
Remember, your self-worth decides your speaking worth. Double quotes. So build yourself up every day. Speak kindly to yourself. Because when you feel strong inside, your words carry power.
The big truth. The more you practice, the better you get. Communication is a skill, not a gift. It grows when you use it. You'll stumble sometimes. You'll have awkward pauses. You'll make mistakes. But every single one of those moments is part of your growth journey. The more you talk, the more confident you become. And one day, you'll look back and realize, you no longer talk to people. You connect with them. Final words. So here's your final reminder, my friend. You don't need to be the funniest, smartest, or most extroverted person in the room. You just need to be real. Be curious. Be warm. Be fully present. And when you do that, you'll never truly run out of things to say. Because connection will always find its way through your words. All right, everyone. That's it for today's episode of the English Leap podcast. If this helped you, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and share this episode with a friend who wants to speak with confidence. Remember, speak with power. Listen with heart. Connect with energy. I'm your host, British Echo English, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep growing, keep learning, and keep talking better than conversation. In any situation, take care and keep shining.